Hey everybody, welcome to Hockey SKATEDOWN. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our hockey team, it's free. Click subscribe, the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much. Let's get started. I want to do my video for the play-in round preview of the Rangers and the Hurricanes and who I think may win this series. This is going to be one of my favorite series to watch, and I definitely think it's going to go the full 5 games. And it's going to be definitely something to keep in mind how things were played in the past to now and how that may change what's going to happen with this series. I'm just going to go over the season stats for these two teams, list a couple of names that I think to keep an eye out on, and then I have a couple of season notes here for these two teams when they went head-to-head and some key notes to keep an eye out for. The Rangers finished 37, 28, and 5 for 79 points. Goals for 234. They finished 5th in the league. Goals allowed, they finished 222, which is 24th in the league. Their leading goal scorer and point getter was Panarin, who had a sensational year, played in 69 games with 32 goals, 63 assists for 95 points. Zibanejad was right under him, playing in 57 games and scoring 41 goals, 34 assists, 75 points. He had a sensational year, Zibanejad. Strome finished 3rd, 70 games played, 18 goals, 41 assists, 59 points. He's an RFA at year's end. Will he re-sign a new deal with the Rangers? Will he get an extension? D'Angelo played in 68 games, 15 goals, 38 assists, 53 points. He's another RFA the Rangers need to think about. Buchnevich, 68 games played, 16 goals, 30 assists for 46 points. And I mentioned Kreider, too. He played in 63 games, had 24 goals, 21 assists for 45 points. And he had a pretty decent year following his extension with the team. Signing a new deal. And, this team has just a sensational 2 lines. They really do. And I think with the Rangers, they have a good forward depth, but I think the center depth is more towards Carolina. But the Rangers, these two teams are kind of matched well against each other. They both have good forwards. Like I said, Carolina has better depth at center. The Rangers have good defense, and their goaltending is phenomenal. And, you got to keep an eye out for Panarin, Strome, and Fast, Chris Kreider, Zibanejad, and Buchnevich, and Kakko's another eye to keep out on. And 2 names that I want to keep an eye out for the Rangers are Lemieux. Basically, I don't know if he's still going to be suspended following what happened towards the end of the year. I haven't heard anything about that. But I like these players come this time of year. I'm familiar with his dad being a Devil fan, watching Claude Lemieux play for us for a very long time. And these players are so fun to watch this time of year because they piss off the other team's best players. And they know how to agitate, they know how to draw penalties, they know how to give their team advantages. So if he plays, I don't know how many games he's suspended for, but keep an eye on him if he does make it into the series. And Kakko's another name to keep an eye out on besides all these star forwards that the Rangers have. Kakko's playing his first playoffs. He didn't have the best of years for his first year. And I know he's dealing with underlying issues, especially with everything that's going around. And he was a question mark going into the series, but he's playing. And, he's definitely one to keep an eye out on to see if he uses his size to his advantage. But I definitely like those top 2 lines for the Rangers. They caused a lot of damage for the Hurricanes this year. Let's see if they can keep that up for them going into the play-in round. The Hurricanes, they finished 35, 25, and 5. 81 points. Goals for of 222, which is 14th. Goals allowed of 193, which was 6th, I believe. Aho led the way with 68 games played, 38 goals, 28 assists, 66 points. And I would have loved to see how he would have played and finished off his point production for the rest of the year. Definitely would have hit 40 goals. Could he have hit the 45-goal mark? Would have been interesting to see. He had a really good year. And especially after that big payday he got last offseason. Teravainen, he had a good year. 68 games played, 15 goals, 48 assists, 63 points. Svechnikov, 68 games played, 34 goals, 37 assists for 24 goals, 37 assists for 61 points. He had a really good year. Hamilton played in 47 games, had 14 goals, 26 assists, 40 points. Nikash had played in 64 games, 16 goals, 20 assists for 36 points. And Slavin had a great year. 68 games played, 6 goals, 30 assists for 36 points. And with them, definitely got to keep an eye out on Justin Williams. He's just a playoff performer. I know he's known as Mr. Game 7, but this year will he be known as Mr. Game 5? Curious to see what happens with that. Hamilton, how will he bounce back and play after having that injury? That line of Aho, Svechnikov, and Taravainen was just sensational to watch all year. These guys are fun to watch out there. Keep an eye out on them. Slavin, you got to keep an eye out as he's going to be on the ice a lot against Artemi Panarin. I'll get into that later into the video. And their defense, they just have a phenomenal defense. With Edmondson, Fleury, Gardner, Hamilton, Brady Shea. Brady Shea is definitely an interesting name as he came over from the Rangers and this trade deadline. And I want to see how he's going to handle this playing against his former team come play in time. Slavin, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, and Vatanen. I want to see how Vatanen plays. I'm familiar with him being a Devil fan, and he was traded for this trade deadline, and I know he was injured a lot, didn't play, but he should be healthy now and ready to go, and he'll definitely add a lot to this team. And who gets the call in the net for both these teams? The Rangers have a very interesting question mark. You had Lundqvist this year who played more against the Hurricanes, played very well against them. And Shesterkin played that one game and played well and won that game. So I'll get into more of that at the end of the video. And, they have that three-headed monster with Georgiev too. Who will start? You had a lot of articles coming out that Hank was saying that he wasn't done. He was going to push to play in the play-in rounds, and he wants to win. He wants a last go and really compete and try to win a cup with this team. So will he push himself enough, having his experience, push Shesterkin out of the net for, to play? Very interesting to see that. I think Shesterkin's definitely going to play, though. And who plays for the Hurricanes? You had Reimer, and then you had Mrazek. And Mrazek had a concussion issue towards the end of the year, came back, and then it went into this whole break. So it's going to be interesting who starts this series for them. I think it's definitely going to be Mrazek. He played the 40 games this year, went 21-16, and was a 2.69. And Reimer played in 25 games. So he definitely played a lot more games. So I'm definitely going to give the nod to Mrazek in this one. So, going through both of these teams, I think, they both have really good and deep offense. But I think the Rangers is a lot more potent than Carolina. Carolina has just that good depth throughout their lineup. Their defense, I'm definitely going to go in favor of Carolina. Like I listed all those names before, they're just crazy deep at defense and good name deep. And the thing is that if they lose a man to injury, they have another big name coming up. So they have a very good list of defensemen. Rangers are good too, but Carolina is definitely a lot deeper. And goaltending, definitely going to go towards the Rangers on this one. The Rangers have 3 goaltenders that can go in and win the games. And, during the year, too, they definitely outplayed Carolina in this. So, looking at their season stats, the Rangers swept Carolina 4-0 during the season series. It's interesting to always keep that in mind, but don't definitely keep your mind triggered on that because you don't want to be, going into the series with that headspace of, oh yeah, we beat them, we're going to just roll over them. You may not. Season stats are a different thing than come playoff time. So definitely something to think about. These two teams never met in the playoffs before. Interesting to see that they've traded 3 times since April of 2019 within both organizations. That's a fun fact. Carolina's goaltending was bad against the Rangers. They went 8.836 save percentage in all situations against the Rangers, and against all the NHL teams, they went .903 against all of them, and this is in all situations, not any special teams. The biggest weakness for the Hurricanes is goaltending, and will it be the biggest concern going into the play-in round? I think so. The Rangers had great goaltending. Henrik Lundqvist had a .947 in 3 starts. He went 3-0. Shesterkin went .931, going 1-0. The power play definitely went towards the Rangers' advantage. They went 5 for 15 on the power play, and Carolina went 2 for 16. And that's the thing. If you have a lot of players in the Rangers that can get under Carolina's skin, if the Rangers can go on the power play and really take advantage of, the net minding of Carolina, they could really win the series. They really can. Panarin led the way. He had 9 points, 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points. And Zibanejad had 4 goals. And those are 2 big names to definitely keep your eye out on. I know I mentioned all of them above, but Panarin, Zibanejad, you know, Kreider, you got to keep an eye on. Strome, you know, D'Angelo. They just have a lot of good names in this team that can put up points. For Carolina, Aho led the way. He had 3 goals, 13 shots on goal, and 20.54 time on ice. And Slavin had 4 assists. He played 22.41 time on ice against the Rangers, and he's going to match up a lot against the Panarin line and really try to cause havoc on them as well. New faces, Carolina. You definitely got to think about these new players that came in. Trocheck, Brady Shea, Vatanen. You got to see how they're going to integrate into this lineup. Thing was that I picked Carolina because I like the additions they made come trade deadline, but they didn't play a lot. What did the 2 players that played, Trocheck and Brady Shea, only played 7 games, then they went on the break. So you're not fully accustomed to the team on and off the ice, and now you have this long break, and you have to go straight into playoff mode. So it's definitely different from years past. So I don't think it's more of an advantage this year as much as it was in prior years as far as getting new acquisitions come trade deadline. And the Rangers, the biggest thing for the Rangers, in my opinion, is if Carolina could start off this series getting to the Rangers' net minding and really question who they're going to put in the net, that's going to be a huge concern for the Rangers. You know, they can't start juggling netminders. They have to go with one guy or, you know, just see if they go one way each game. But they have to really have their mindset on one goalie going forward. And it's hard because Lundqvist has had such an astounding career with this team and been such a playoff performer where you need that experience come playoff time. And especially that it's only a 5-game series instead of 7, you're going to need that mindset that Lundqvist has over Shesterkin. But Shesterkin's just a freaking phenomenal goaltender, so you want him in to win these games. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out on, is if Carolina can really get to the net minding of the Rangers. And, you know, that's what I wanted to say this thing. I really think the Rangers can win this series. I really do. They really took it to them this year. You know, power play they ran. You know, even though Carolina did outshoot the Rangers, what was it? I had it here. They outshot them, I think, 161 to 104. So they drastically outshot the Rangers, but the Rangers' net minding was so good that they were able to hold the wins in these games. So it's going to be a fun series to watch. I think the Rangers will win this now. I really do. After doing all this research and really concentrating on that potent offense that the Rangers have, I really do think they're going to win this series. So comment below what you think about this. If you think the Rangers will win, if you think Carolina will win. As always, thank you for your time and watching. Smash that like button. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the hockey channel. Join our hockey team. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow. Take it easy.